My name is Elizabeth Morgan, 36 years old. 10 years ago, I walked out of my father's company. I still remember that day vividly. My father's office. The massive desk. His cold stare. This is not how we do business, Elizabeth. But Dad, we're exploiting the workers. We're running a company, not a charity. I can't be part of this. Then leave. I stood up. Headed for the door. Didn't look back. 10 years passed. I was running a small architecture firm. 8 employees. 1,000th the size of my father's company, Morgan Construction. But I had my pride. One day, my cell phone rang. Hello? Elizabeth? It's Martha Wilson. My father's secretary. 62 years old. She'd been by his side since I was a child. Martha? What's wrong? It's your father. He's very sick. Stage 4 lung cancer. The doctors say, not long. My hand trembled, holding the phone. How long? Weeks. Maybe days. I took a deep breath. I'll think about it. Elizabeth, he's asking for you. I hung up. For 3 days, I wrestled with the decision. For 10 years, we'd had no contact. Not on birthdays. Not at Christmas. Nothing at all. My sister Victoria sent emails occasionally. Dad misses you. Why don't you come home? He's changed, Liz. But I didn't believe it. Dad never changed. Stubborn, cold, all business. On the 4th day, I got in my car. 2 hours to the family home. First time in 10 years. My heart raced as I passed through the gate. Nothing had changed. The big white mansion. The manicured lawn. Symbols of my father's success. Martha was waiting at the front door. Elizabeth. She hugged me. Thank you for coming. How is he? Weak. But he knows you're here. He's been waiting. My father's bedroom. I opened the door. A man lying in bed. This was my father. The powerful man from 10 years ago was gone. A wasted body. Gray skin. An oxygen mask. But his eyes were the same. Sharp, strong-willed. Dad. He tried to remove his mask. Martha helped him. Elizabeth. His voice was weak. But warm. I moved closer. Sat by the bed. I'm here. I'm sorry. I froze. My father, apologizing? What? I was wrong. About everything. I pushed you away. I chose money over my daughter. I'm sorry. Tears welled up. Dad. I've been following your work. Your company. Your projects. I'm proud of you, Elizabeth. So proud. My father's hand gripped mine. Cold, weak. I want you to know. I love you. I always have. I cried. 10 years of anger. Sadness. All of it poured out. I love you too, Dad. That night, I talked with Martha. Where's Victoria? She's busy. Busy? Martha looked away. She comes in the morning. Checks on your father. Then leaves. She has meetings. Obligations. Who's taking care of him? I am. I looked at my father's study. Stacks of papers on the desk. Company reports. Financial statements. And an envelope. My name was written on it. Martha, what is this? I don't know. Your father asked me to keep it safe. I started to open the envelope. Martha stopped me. Not yet. He said, after. After what? After he's gone. My hands shook. The next day, Victoria came. Liz. Oh my God, you're here. She hugged me. She looked beautiful. Expensive suit. Perfect makeup. Diamond ring. I'm so glad you came. Dad needs us both right now. We entered Dad's room. Victoria kissed his forehead. Good morning, Daddy. How are you feeling? Dad smiled. But I noticed. My sister's eyes. They were cold. Calculating. Scheming something. I looked at Martha. She'd noticed too. A week later, Dad passed quietly. My sister and I were on either side. Martha said a prayer. Rest in peace, Robert. You were a good man. Dad's last words were directed at me. Trust yourself, Elizabeth. And trust Martha. Then he closed his eyes. Victoria cried. Loudly. Dramatically. I shed quiet tears. The funeral was 3 days later. 300 people came. Business partners. Employees. Relatives. Everyone praised my father. Great man. Visionary leader. He'll be missed. But I knew. Dad wasn't perfect. But at the end, he changed. That was enough. After the funeral, Victoria told me. Next week, the board meeting. For the will and the company's future. I'm not interested in the company, Victoria. It's yours. My sister smiled. But the smile wasn't warm. We'll see, Liz. We'll see. A week after the funeral. Morgan Construction Headquarters, 15th floor. The imposing conference room. Long table. Leather chairs. Outside the windows, the Denver skyline. 8 board members were seated. All people who'd worked with Dad for over 20 years. I sat at the end. Victoria sat at the head of the table, Dad's seat. As if it were already hers. Martha stood against the wall. As always. Quiet. Watching everything. The clock struck 10 a.m. Victoria stood up. Thank you all for coming. Her voice was full of confidence. As you know, we're here to discuss my father's will and the future of Morgan Construction. The board members nodded. I want to start by saying how grateful I am for your years of service to my father and this company. She started walking around the table. As if she were already president. My father built this company from nothing. He poured his heart and soul into it for 40 years. Walking again. Looking at everyone's faces. And now, it's time to decide who will carry on his legacy. She looked at me. Just for a moment. Something flashed in her eyes. The certainty of victory. Victoria pulled an envelope from her bag. This is my father's last will and testament. She placed the envelope on the table. Slowly opened it. Took out the paper. Began reading. I, Robert Morgan, being of sound mind and body, do hereby declare this to be my last will and testament. The room fell silent. To my daughter Victoria Morgan, who has stood by my side, who has dedicated herself to this company, who has proven her loyalty time and time again. Victoria's voice rose. I leave Morgan Construction, all its assets, properties, and holdings. She is the only true heir. She has earned this. She looked at me. As for my daughter Elizabeth Morgan, my heart stopped. She abandoned this family. She turned her back on everything I built. She chose her own path. Therefore, she has forfeited any right to my estate. She will receive nothing. The room buzzed. Board members looked at each other. Surprise. Confusion. Concern. I didn't move. Victoria set down the paper. I'm sorry, Liz. But those are Dad's wishes. There wasn't a shred of regret in her voice. Rather, she was satisfied. One of the board members, Mr. Thomas, stood up. Victoria, are you certain this is legitimate? Of course. It's signed, dated, and witnessed. Who were the witnesses? Victoria hesitated for a moment. Two of Dad's nurses. From his final weeks. I looked at Martha. She shook her head. Slightly. So no one would notice. But I saw. I reached into my bag. Slowly. Pulled out an envelope. That envelope. The envelope from Dad's study. The envelope Martha gave me the day Dad died. Open it now, she'd said. I stood up. Victoria. My sister looked at me. With a victorious smile. Yes, Liz? That's an interesting will you have there. It's Dad's will. Is it? I held up the envelope. Because this is also Dad's will. Victoria's smile vanished. What? This envelope. Dad gave it to Martha. 3 days before he died. I began opening the envelope. Slowly. Victoria's face went pale. That's impossible. Is it? I pulled out the paper. Thick paper. A notary seal. An attorney's signature. Mr. Thomas stepped forward. May I see that? I handed it to him. He began reading. His eyes widened. This is a notarized will. Signed by Robert Morgan, witnessed by Martha Wilson and attorney James Parker. Victoria stood up. No. No, that can't be. The date is 3 days before Robert's death. Mr. Thomas looked at me. This supersedes any previous will. I took a deep breath. What does it say? Mr. Thomas began reading. I, Robert Morgan, being of sound mind, do declare this my final will. To my daughter Elizabeth Morgan, I leave Morgan Construction. She has the vision, the integrity, and the courage this company needs. I was wrong to push her away. I was wrong about many things. But I know this is right. The room fell completely silent. No one moved. No one spoke. Mr. Thomas continued. To my daughter Victoria, I leave my personal estate valued at $5 million, and a position in the company should she choose to accept it. But the company belongs to Elizabeth. This is my final wish. The paper slipped from Victoria's hands. Slowly. To the floor. Her face was deathly white. No. I looked at my sister. Victoria, what did you do? I. You forged Dad's will. No. I didn't. Martha stepped forward. She did. Everyone looked at Martha. I was there. Every day. Victoria came to Robert's room when he was heavily medicated. She brought papers. She tried to get him to sign. But he refused. So she found another way. Victoria backed away. You're lying. You've always favored Elizabeth. I'm not lying. And I have proof. Martha pulled out a small recorder. Robert asked me to record his conversations in his final days. Just in case. She pressed the button. Dad's voice filled the room. Weak but clear. Martha, make sure Elizabeth gets the real will. Victoria, she's been asking me to sign things. But I won't. The company goes to Elizabeth. That's final. The recording stopped. Victoria collapsed into a chair, head in her hands. The board members looked at each other. Mr. Thomas approached me. Miss Morgan. Elizabeth, it appears you are the rightful heir to Morgan Construction. I looked at the envelope. My father's handwriting. Trust yourself, Elizabeth. I took a deep breath. I need time to think. Of course. I looked at Victoria. My sister was crying. But I couldn't tell. Were they tears of regret? Or tears of angry defeat? Meeting adjourned, Mr. Thomas said. I left the conference room. Stopped in the hallway. Looked out the window. Denver. The city Dad loved. The empire Dad built. And now, it was all mine. But this wasn't what I wanted. What I wanted was my father's love. And that, I already had. Tears streamed down my cheeks. Oh, Dad, what do I do now? Leaving the conference room, I headed to Dad's old office. Opened the door. Everything was the same. Dad's scent. Cigars and coffee. I sat at the desk. Heavy. This chair. This responsibility. A knock. Come in. Victoria entered. Her eyes were red. Makeup smeared. Liz, we need to talk. I don't think we do. Please. Just listen. I stayed quiet. My sister sat in a chair. That will you showed, it's fake. I laughed. Actually laughed. You're joking. I'm not. Dad would never. Victoria, stop. Listen to me. Her voice rose. Dad promised me. He said I would inherit everything. You left. You abandoned us. I left the company. Not the family. It's the same thing. I stood up. No. It's not. And you know it. Victoria stood up too. I'm taking this to court. I'll fight you. I have lawyers. I have resources. Then do it. I looked into her eyes. But know this. I have the truth. And the truth always wins. My sister stormed out. The door slammed. I looked out the window. A storm was coming. That night, Martha came to my apartment. You need to see something. She pulled an old leather-bound notebook from her bag. What is this? Robert's diary. From the last 6 months. I took it. Heavy. Opened it. Dad's handwriting. First page. March 15th. Victoria came today. She asked about the will again. Said Elizabeth doesn't deserve anything. But she's wrong. Elizabeth is the one with integrity. The one who stood up for what she believed in. I was too proud to admit it then. But I see it now. Tears fell onto the paper. I turned the page. April 2nd. Martha told me Elizabeth started her own firm. Small, but successful. She's doing it the right way. Treating workers fairly. Building sustainably. Everything I should have done. I'm proud of her. I wish I could tell her. More tears. May 10th. Victoria brought papers today. Wanted me to sign. Said it was just routine company documents. But I'm not a fool. I know what she's doing. She wants everything. But I won't give it to her. Not like this. I kept turning pages. June 3rd. Martha suggested I call Elizabeth. I'm scared. What if she doesn't want to hear from me? What if it's too late? My hands shook. June 18th. I'm dying. The doctors confirmed it. Stage 4. Maybe weeks. I need to see Elizabeth. Before it's too late. Before I lose my chance. The last page. 2 days before Dad died. July 28th. Elizabeth came. My beautiful daughter came home. We talked. We cried. We forgave. I can die in peace now. But before I go, I need to make things right. The company goes to Elizabeth. Not because Victoria doesn't deserve it. But because Elizabeth will do what I couldn't. She'll make it better. She'll make it right. Tomorrow, I'll finalize the will with James Parker. Martha will witness. This is my final decision. Victoria will be angry. But maybe one day she'll understand. This isn't about punishment. It's about doing what's right. I closed the book. Covered my face with both hands. Wept. Martha placed her hand on my shoulder. He loved you both. But he knew you were the one who could carry his legacy forward. Why didn't he tell Victoria? He tried. Many times. But she didn't want to hear it. She only wanted the company. The money. The power. I took a deep breath. What do I do, Martha? You do what Robert asked. You take the company. And you make it better. The next day, the board was called again. This time at Victoria's request. She'd brought a lawyer. A man in an expensive suit. Cold eyes. Thick briefcase. Ladies and gentlemen, the lawyer began. I'm Harold Stevens, representing Victoria Morgan. We're here to contest the validity of the will presented yesterday. Mr. Thomas stepped forward. On what grounds? Undue influence. We believe Martha Wilson manipulated Robert Morgan in his vulnerable state to favor Elizabeth. Martha stood up. That's absurd. Is it? You were alone with him for hours every day. You had access. You had opportunity. I stood up too. Martha would never. Miss Morgan, please. Let me handle this. The lawyer opened his briefcase. Pulled out documents. We have statements from nurses who worked with Robert. They claim Martha prevented Victoria from seeing her father on multiple occasions. I prevented no one, Martha said. Robert asked for privacy. I respected his wishes. Convenient. I clenched my fists. Gritted my teeth. And made my decision. Mr. Stevens. The lawyer looked at me. Yes? You want evidence? You want proof? I pulled Dad's diary from my bag. Placed it on the table. This is my father's diary. 6 months' worth. Written in his own hand. Victoria's face went pale. Where did you? It was in his study. Where he left it. For whoever needed to find it. Mr. Thomas took the diary. Started reading. 1 page. 2 pages. 3 pages. His expression changed. This is very detailed. Read it aloud, I said. All of it. Mr. Thomas began reading. Dad's words. Dad's thoughts. Dad's decisions. Especially 1 page. May 10th, Victoria brought papers today. Wanted me to sign. Said it was routine. But I know what she's doing. Victoria stood up. Stop. Please, stop. But Mr. Thomas continued. She wants everything. But I won't give it to her. Not like this. Not when she only cares about money and power. Stop. Victoria screamed. The room fell silent. My sister collapsed into her chair. Crying. really crying. I just wanted him to love me. Her voice trembled. I did everything right. I stayed. I worked. I dedicated my life to this company. But it was never enough. He never saw me. Only you. Always you. I looked at my sister. For the first time, I saw the real her. Not anger. Not jealousy. Pain. Deep, deep pain. Martha stepped forward. Victoria, your father loved you. No, he didn't. He did. But he loved the company more. And he knew Elizabeth was the one who could save it from becoming what he feared most. A machine without a soul. Martha pulled out the recorder again. There's more on this recording. Something I didn't play yesterday. She pressed the button. Dad's voice. Martha, I need you to tell Victoria something. After I'm gone. Tell her I'm sorry. Sorry I made her feel like she had to compete for my love. Sorry I let the company come between us. She deserves better. She deserves to be free. Free from this burden. Free from me. The recording stopped. Victoria stared at the floor. Tears wouldn't stop. The lawyer stood up. I need to consult with my client. No. Victoria raised her face. No more lawyers. No more fighting. She looked at me. You win, Liz. You always win. And she left the room. The lawyer hurried after her. I sat there, unable to move. Mr. Thomas approached me. Ms. Morgan, it appears the matter is settled. You are the rightful owner of Morgan Construction. I looked at Dad's diary. Do what's right, Elizabeth. Not what's easy. I took a deep breath. Schedule another board meeting. Tomorrow. 10 a.m. What for? I have a proposal. About Victoria. Mr. Thomas's eyes widened. Are you certain? Yes. My father wanted me to save this company. But he also wanted me to save my sister. And I'm going to do both. The next morning, the conference room was full again. 8 board members. Martha. And 1 empty seat. Victoria's seat. 10 a.m. She didn't come. 10:05. Still not here. I pulled out my cell phone. Called my sister. The number you have dialed is not available. Hung up. Mr. Thomas looked at me. Should we proceed without her? No. Wait. 10:10. The door opened. Victoria walked in. No makeup. Hair uncombed. Same clothes as yesterday. She sat in the back seat. Didn't look up. I stood up. Thank you all for coming. Took a deep breath. I've spent the last 24 hours thinking about my father's legacy. About this company. About what he really wanted. I walked around the table. My father built Morgan Construction from nothing. He poured 40 years of his life into it. He made mistakes. He hurt people. Including his own daughters. Victoria looked up slightly. But in his final days, he tried to make things right. He gave me this company. Not because I'm better than Victoria. But because he believed I could transform it. I looked at my sister. Victoria. She looked at me. Her eyes were red. Stand up. What? Please. Stand up. She slowly stood. Come here. Victoria hesitated. But started walking. Around the table. To me. We faced each other. You said yesterday that you just wanted Dad to love you. My sister looked away. Look at me. She met my eyes. He did love you. But he was terrible at showing it. Just like he was terrible at showing me. We both suffered because of that. I took my sister's hands. But we don't have to keep suffering. We don't have to keep fighting. Tears filled Victoria's eyes. I tried to steal everything from you. I know. I forged Dad's will. I know. I almost destroyed you. But you didn't. I hugged my sister. She froze at first. But slowly, she hugged me back. And started crying. 10 years of pain poured out. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know. The board members watched. But I didn't care. After a while, my sister pulled away. Wiped her face. So what now? You fire me? You kick me out? I smiled. No. Victoria looked confused. What? I looked at the board members. I've reviewed the company's records. The past 5 years. And I found something interesting. Mr. Thomas leaned forward. What did you find? Victoria secured 15 major clients. Her closing rate is 87%. Industry average is 52%. She increased market share by 23% in the Western region alone. I looked at my sister. She's brilliant at sales and client relations. Better than anyone in this company. Victoria's mouth opened. You looked at my work? Of course I did. I turned back to the board members. My first decision as the owner of Morgan Construction is this: Victoria Morgan will be appointed as Vice President of Business Development. The room buzzed. Mr. Thomas stood up. Elizabeth, are you certain? After everything? Yes. Because my father was right about one thing. This company needs the best people. And Victoria is one of them. I looked at my sister. But there are conditions. Victoria nodded. Anything. You report directly to me. You attend weekly one-on-ones. And you work with our new ethics committee to ensure all our business practices are transparent and fair. Ethics committee? I'm creating one. We're changing how this company operates. No more exploitation. No more cutting corners. We do things right. Or we don't do them at all. Victoria looked at me for a long time. Then took a deep breath. Okay. Okay? Yes. I'll do it. All of it. She wiped her tears. But Liz, why? Why are you giving me this chance? I remembered Dad's diary. Do what's right. Not what's easy. Because you're my sister. And because Dad was wrong. He made us compete for his love. But we don't have to compete anymore. We can work together. We can build something better. Victoria started crying again. But this time it was different. Tears of relief. Tears of hope. Thank you, thank you. I looked at the board members. Any objections? Mr. Thomas stood up. Slowly began clapping. The other board members stood. Applause spread. Martha was clapping too. Tears streaming down her face. After the meeting ended, Victoria came to me. Liz, I need to tell you something. What? The nurses. The ones who witnessed Dad's fake will. I paid them $10,000 each. My heart stopped. What? I'm confessing. Everything. I forged the will. I bribed the nurses. I tried to steal the company. I'm ready to face the consequences. I looked at my sister. What consequences do you want? Whatever you decide. Police. Lawsuit. I deserve it. I thought for a long time. Then said, no police. No lawsuit. But you'll pay back the $20,000 from your own salary. $1,000 a month for 20 months. And you'll write a formal apology to the board. And to Martha. And to me. Victoria nodded. Done. And one more thing. What? Therapy. You start next week. And you go every week for at least a year. My sister laughed a little. You sound like Dad. Good. Maybe he knew something after all. That night, I visited Dad's grave. A new headstone. Robert Morgan. 1945 to 2025. Beloved father, visionary leader. I knelt. The grass was soft. Hi, Dad. The wind blew. Tree leaves rustled. I did it. I took the company. And I'm keeping Victoria. I know you wanted me to give her a chance. So I am. Tears ran down my cheeks. But I'm scared. What if I fail? What if I destroy everything you built? Silence. And then in my heart, I heard Dad's voice. You won't fail. Because you have something I never had. Compassion. And that's what this company needs. I smiled. I miss you, Dad. I wish you were here to see this. The wind blew again. Warm. I stood up. Placed my hand on the headstone. I'll make you proud. I promise. And I started walking. Toward the parking lot. Victoria was waiting by the car. Hey. Hey. Want to grab dinner? I was surprised. Dinner? Yeah. Sisters do that, right? I laughed. Really laughed. Yeah. They do. We got in the car. Headed downtown. And for the first time, we talked as sisters. Not about the company. Not about Dad. Just as sisters. Remember when we were kids? Victoria said. We used to build forts in the living room. And Dad would pretend he couldn't see them. He'd walk right through and act surprised. We laughed. We were happy then, my sister said. We can be happy again. Victoria looked at me. You really think so? Yes. But it won't be easy. We have a lot of work to do. On the company. And on us. I'm ready. Good. Because tomorrow, we start rebuilding. Everything. My sister smiled. A real smile I'd never seen before. Together? Together. 1 year later, Morgan Construction's new office. Morning sunlight streamed through the windows. I sat at Dad's desk. But it wasn't Dad's desk anymore. It was mine. A new plaque hung on the wall. Morgan Construction. Building with integrity since 1985. A knock. Come in. Victoria walked in. Carrying files. Morning, Liz. Got the Peterson contract finalized. $15 million. They loved our sustainable design approach. I smiled. Good work. My sister sat down. You know what's funny? What? A year ago, I would have done anything to sit in that chair. But now, I don't want it. Really? Yeah. I found something better. What's that? Purpose. I'm actually helping people now. Building communities. Not just making money. I looked at my sister. She'd changed. Her eyes were bright. Her smile was genuine. Dad would be proud of you. Tears glistened in Victoria's eyes. You think so? I know so. That afternoon, Martha came to my office. Elizabeth, I have something to tell you. What is it? I'm retiring. At the end of the month. My heart stopped. Martha, no. We need you. You needed me. Past tense. But now you and Victoria are doing beautifully. It's time for me to rest. She smiled. I'm 63 years old. I've worked for 40 years. I want to travel. See the world. Live a little. I stood up. Hugged Martha. Thank you. For everything. For saving Dad's legacy. For saving us. You saved yourselves, dear. I just helped a little. Will you stay as a consultant? Please? Just advice when we need it? Martha laughed. Of course. You can't get rid of me that easily. The anniversary of Dad's death. The cemetery. An autumn afternoon. Leaves golden. Victoria and I stood in front of Dad's grave. My sister placed flowers. White lilies. Dad's favorite. Hi, Dad, she said. We came to give you an update. I placed flowers too. The company is doing well. Revenue is up 18%. But more importantly, employee satisfaction is up 45%. We're building homes people are proud to live in. Victoria continued. And Liz and I, we're actually friends now. Can you believe it? Your daughters. Friends. I held my sister's hand. We finally understand what you wanted, Dad. Not competition. Collaboration. Not just success. Significance. The wind blew. Leaves danced. I closed my eyes. And I heard Dad's voice. In my heart. I'm proud of you both. So very proud. Victoria started crying. I wish I had told him I loved him. Before it was too late. He knew. How can you be sure? Because he told me. That last day. He said, tell Victoria I love her. Tell her she's enough. She's always been enough. My sister looked at me. He really said that? Yes. Victoria collapsed. Knelt down. Pressed her forehead to the headstone. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry for everything. I knelt too. Held my sister. He forgave you. Just like I did. The sun began to set. We stood up. Walked toward the parking lot. Victoria said. How about Thanksgiving at my place? Really? Yeah. We'll invite Martha. The whole family. I smiled. Dad would love that. Then it's settled. We got in the car. But before starting it, I looked back. Dad's grave. Sunset illuminating the headstone. Beautiful. Goodbye, Dad, I whispered. We'll be okay. We'll take care of each other. Like you wanted. Then I started the engine. Headed downtown. Toward the future. Victoria looked out the window and said. You know what? I think we actually did it. Did what? Built something better. Not perfect. But ours. I laughed. Yeah. We did. And we became a real family. Not fighting for Dad's love. But sharing love with each other. Not perfect. But real. And that was enough.